Okay, so I already have explained the BJT model, wherein you have this is the BJT circuit, and the current here should be like this. I already have said. So in this case, the major equation that we used is IE is equal to IB plus IC. Okay, and the second equation is the relation between IE and IC is IC equal to alpha I. Now the current goes from emitter to collector via base. Now when the current or the carriers reaches to the base, there are recombination takes place. So that's why I already have said that the value of alpha will be always less than 1. You cannot get whatever is started from emitter will not get the same carriers in the collector. You will get little less current. And the other relation was IC and IB, and beta is the forward current gain. I already have explained. For better or more precise calculations, you can consider the ICO, which is known as the collector leakage current. What does that collector leakage current mean? If you have these two terminals, base and emitter terminal open, that is if it is switched off, then whatever current you will find from the collector will be the leakage current, because this BC or base collector junction is in reverse bias. Okay, now this collector leakage current has its own expression, where alpha R is the value of alpha in the reverse mode when you have B in reverse and CB junction in forward, just opposite to what usually takes place. And then you have the relation between VCE, VB and VCB. So VCE will be always the summation of VB and VCB, right? Now it is important to note that these expressions are always valid in active mode. That means when the transistor is operating in active mode, then only these equations will be valid. If the transistor goes in saturation, then again your VBC and VB will be not in the same polarity. Their polarity will change. So VCB will be the reverse polarity. So your VCE will reduce because both the junctions are in forward bias. Now in this case, your base emitter junction is forward bias, your base collector junction is reverse bias. Okay, so I have explained this already. Then I also have shown you the large signal model. What is the representation of BJT for the large signal model? So you have the current IC, which is equal to beta IB, and we can consider this as a current source, and the BE junction is nothing but a diode. So in this junction you have the diode equation. The whole thing will follow the diode equation, which is IS by beta into exponential VB by VT. And what is this VT? This VT is thermal voltage. So remember, this is not the threshold voltage of CMOS. Maybe after some time we will use VT as the threshold voltage, but as of now it is thermal voltage. That means VT equal to KT by Q, which is more or less in 60 millivolt for T equal to 300 Kelvin. More or less 26, or some you may use 25 millivolts. Okay, for T equal to 300 Kelvin or 27 degree centigrade. So for the sake of simplicity, you may also use 25 millivolt, this value, that is constant. Okay, for T equal to 300 Kelvin. Now I also have discussed the output characteristics of the BJT, wherein I have said that we have taken the total current as I suffix small b, which is the summation of small signal, that is the AC current, plus the DC current. This is the summation of both the currents, that is what your total current is. Similar thing will happen for the voltage as well. So if this is the total voltage is equal to your DC voltage plus your AC voltage. Okay, so same thing will happen in there also, and this VA is nothing but the early voltage. I also have said that what is the early voltage from device perspective. Now if you in this particular plot, if you extend this saturation part towards the negative VC axis, it will touch the VC in the early voltage place. I mean, wherever it touches, it will be the early voltage of this particular device. So for different IB, if you see, the slopes are different. So for different IB, the value of the value of output resistance will be different, although the early voltage is same. So if you calculate the output resistance or resistance from this curve, that means if you take the biasing current over here, and if you start calculating the this resistance from this curve, which will be V equal to IR, I already have shown. So R will be V by I. So here V is VA and I is whatever value you are getting from this bias point, maybe take it as IC1, then this will give you the output resistance, because this is output characteristics. So from this you will get the value of output resistance of your device. Okay, then let us discuss the most important parameter. I already have said transconductance is one of the key parameters of the transistor. Okay, now this transconductance, what is conductance? The ratio between current and voltage. So in case of transconductance, you are taking the output current, which is collector current in our case, and the input voltage, which is VBE, the base emitter voltage. So this will give you the value of transconductance. Del IC by del VB will be the transconductance, change in the output current by change in the input voltage, so that you get to know what is the influence. Now, as I have said that the base emitter junction or these currents, the collector current will follow this diode equation. So this IC will be, you can say this reverse saturation IS. So it will be reverse saturation current and exponential VBE by VT. VT is again thermal voltage. So far consider VT as thermal voltage. Okay. Now if you do simple calculation, del IC can be written as DIC by dVB into del VB. This is how we write the partial equations, right? Or maybe we can start from here. Del IC by del VBE can be written as DIC by dVB. Now take this one over there. So you'll get this equation. Now in this equation, this part is what we have said GM, right? So del IC is equal to GM into del VBE. Now what is del IC? Del IC is the AC part of the signal. It is the change in this DC current, which is essentially the AC. So del IC can be written as IC and del VB can be written as AC VB, small VB. So the IC and VB is related to each other using this equation, is related to each other as per this equation, wherein GM is the factor. Okay. Now let us take this diode equation, right, which I have already shown in the previous, that IC is equal to reverse saturation current into exponential VBE by VT. That is what is the actual equation as per device, right? Now the GM value is del IC by del VB, that means DIC by dVB. Now let us do this derivative. Let us replace this IC using this expression. Now we will get dVB into IS exponential VBE by VT. Okay. Now if you do this derivative, you will find is constant, so it will come out, and dx of exponential VBE by VT. So here x is VBE, right? So let us write VBE. So what will happen? 1 by Vt will come out as a constant. So is by 1 Vt, and ddx of e to the power x is e to the power x. So you will get is by Vt into exponential VBE by t. This is the expression. So if you take this part, is into this, you will find this is equal to IC. So you get IC by Vt. Again, Vt is thermal voltage, which is Kt by Q. So IC by Kt by Q. So ultimately you get QIC by Kt. So Gm is equal to QIC by Kt. This is your expression for transconductance. Now, if I want to increase the value of Gm, what I can do from the expression? It is quite evident that you can increase the value of IC or decrease the value of T. Now decreasing the value of T doesn't make sense because you need maybe liquid nitrogen, or you have to put in a refrigerator. The circuit you have to put in a refrigerator, which doesn't make sense because anyways when you design a circuit it will be used in the ambient. It is not for a specific region or specific temperature which you cannot maintain. So one option is you can increase the IC. Now what will happen if you increase the IC? If you check the output characteristics, if you start increasing the IC, there will be a output characteristics wherein you have a chance of entering into the saturation. Okay, so you will enter into the saturation, and once you are entering into the saturation, you probably will not get any amplification, right? Why you won't get any amplification? I have shown you that transfer characteristics previous day of that inverter. So it is V out by V in characteristics. Now what do you mean by dV0 by dV in? What is this? This value is essentially representing your gain, the change of your output voltage with respect to change of your input voltage. Now when these values are constant, what is this value? 0. These are more or less constant. In fact, in practice they may not be constant, but the slope is very low. That means almost constant. And in such a situation, you get this value to be 0. That means there is no gain. So you have to rely on this linear part where the slope is very high. Now, if you start increasing your IC, you may end up in to the saturation region, and once you are in the saturation region, you will not be able to get any kind of gain. Okay, so all the circuit that I am going to discuss will be operated in active region of BJT. Okay, so we will be operating in the active region. We will not operate in the cutoff region where both the junctions are reverse biased. Neither we will operate in the saturation region where both the junctions are in forward bias. I said yesterday that we may use the saturation, but in digital circuits, right? They may use the saturation. They may take advantage of that, but in analog we will not use, because ultimately you are reaching in a region where gain is 0, which is not desirable. If the gain is 0, what is the purpose of making an amplifier? So you will not be able to get anything. So this is what is the reason that the GM value will depend on your biasing current. GM value also decides your gain. So in order to increase your gain, you cannot just increase the IC, because there are consequences. So purpose of showing you this is why you can't have a very large IC and at the same time get a very high gain. It is not possible. You may you may end up in a situation wherein your gain will become 0. Okay, and this KTYQ value, I have said it is 26 millivolt at 27 degrees centigrade, more or less. But for the sake of calculation, you can use 25 millivolt. I said, what is the reason? 25 is a good number, and 1 by 25 is also a good number. It is around 0.04. So many people use 25 millivolts. Okay, so for IC equal to 1 milliampere and T equal to 27 degrees centigrade, you will get a GM value of around 38 milliampere per volt. Okay, so this is what GM is all about. Okay, now what if I use, let us use the circuit model of the same. Okay, now say this is the circuit. Here is base, say emitter, this is collector, right? Collector. Now current is flowing from there, IC, and here you have IB. So your current is IC equal to beta into VB, considering VB is the input. Okay, so your current will be beta into VB, right? Now let us put an output resistance RL, and let us put an input resistance as well, RI, and here is your output voltage V0, right? So what will be V0? V0 is equal to minus IC into RL. Okay, now if I do minus IC by IB into IB into RL, I can write like this. I have just put IB, one in here and one in the denominator, so it is possible. Now why I have done this? Just to use beta 0. Beta 0 is the forward current gain I have said previously. So here it will be minus beta 0 into IB into RL. That is what your V0 is. Now let us check the what is there in the input side. So if it is IB, your VBE will be equal to IB into RI, right? Now what is the value of IB? It is VBE by RI. Okay, now just replace these two, replace the IV value in this equation. So your V0 will become minus beta 0 into IB is equal to VB by RI, VB by RI, VB by RI into RL. So ultimately your output voltage by input voltage is equal to minus beta 0 into RL by RI. So ultimately you get this expression. And what does that mean? That your voltage gain is a function of load resistance and the input resistance. Resistance in the output side and resistance in the input side. So you can tune those resistances in order to make your amplification. Beta 0, say if you consider it's around 100, 150, if you have a VB is in the order of say millivolt or say in microvolt, if you can tune this RL and RI, you can go up to say volt. So this this is what the basic concept of amplifier. Just to show this, I have drawn this circuit. So ultimately you will be using this type of circuits. Okay, but before we use this kind of circuits, we will see how to replace the device to this kind of circuit. So that is what we are actually doing at present. Okay, so we will first see different parameters, and then we'll replace those parameters in the circuit. Now, why we are using this kind of circuit? Why don't we use the device itself? Now, if you use the device itself in the circuit, all the device physics will come into the picture. You may have to deal with this kind of equations. And using this kind of equations in circuit will make it even more complicated. Because circuit is something where you need the numbers. But if you use this kind of equations in there, it will be highly complicated. You may not end up with a good solution. So, in order to approximate those things, we replace the whole device with an equivalent circuit at a particular assumption or at a particular stage. For example, here we are using the saturation in our consideration. So you use this particular circuit for saturation domain and then just solve the circuit. Use KCL, KVL to figure out what is the values, and that is good enough. For physics perspective, people will say, oh, how you can use these kind of things over here. You are taking too much assumptions. You are maybe you are saying that you can use 25 instead of 26, which is not allowed. But in terms of circuit, that is fine. As long as you are getting in, your calculations are simple, that is fine. If your assumptions are not very bad, that is fine. Okay. So from engineering perspective, that thing you can do. So as I progress, I'll explain you more. Okay. Now let us see the limitation of the small signal analysis, because we are doing small signal analysis study. So let us see what is the limitation. So for that purpose, I have taken this circuit into consideration, wherein we used a DC bias over which we superimposed the AC signal Vin, and this is again NPN transistor, and the total current is equal to DC plus AC, as I have said. Now the total current, again from the physics perspective, we will see that is equal to reverse saturation current into exponential VB plus Vin, because this is now your total voltage, VB plus Vin divided by VT. This is your total current. What about the DC component? The DC component will be reverse saturation current into exponential VB by VT. Vin will not come because we are only considering DC value. Now let us replace this equation into this. Now what is the expression? What is this expression? If you check only this part, it is like e to the power a plus b, right? Which is e to the power a into e to the power b. Now what is value of a? VB by VT. What is value of b? Vin by VT. Is it? So just replacing this term, IC dash will be IC. IC means Is exponential VB by VT. This term is IC. So you replace this value as IC, then exponential e to the power b term. E to the power b term is Vin by VT. Vin by VT. So this part is clear. You have just replaced this equation in the first one. So you will get, let me make it even more clear, IC dash is equal to Is e to the power VB by VT into e to the power Vin by VT. Now Is e to the power VB by VT is what is IC. Then you are left with exponential Vin by VT. So Vin by VT. Now if you expand this in infinite series, that is infinite series of e to the power x, which is 1 plus x by 1 factorial plus x square by 2 factorial plus x cube by 3 factorial. If you use this infinite series over here, you will find IC dash, that is the total current, is IC is constant, so IC into e to the power, your x is V in by Vt, right? So V in by Vt by 1, so it is V in by Vt plus 1 by 2 V in by Vt whole square, because 2 factorial is 2, then 3 factorial is 6, which is V in by Vt whole cube. So this is your total expression. Now, if you consider the AC component is nothing but the total component minus the DC. That is what it is written. Total component minus this DC part is your AC component. So we have written here the AC component is total minus DC. So your AC component is the total value that we have got in here, this expression. This is the total IC plus 1 plus this thing. So this minus DC. Now if you multiply IC with this expression, you will find this IC and this IC will be cancelled, and you are left with IC by Vt into V in, then IC by Vt square into V in square, and half is there, then IC by Vt cube into V in cube, 1 by 6 is there. Okay, so this is your expression, where the expression of IC. So for V in very less than Vt, if your V in is very less than Vt, you will find these higher order terms can be neglected. Now what happens if V in is almost equal to Vt or V in is higher than Vt? These terms will start playing role. So it is good if this terms starts playing role, your IC will be higher, right? Now if your IC is higher, other than getting a higher gain, IC is your output current, right? So other than getting a higher gain, you will end up with zero gain. Why? I already have said, you just cannot increase the IC abruptly, because either you will end up with, this is what you are biasing, this is your IC, so you will end up in getting into these domains. This is your signal, input signal, say V in, so you will end up in these domains, or if you increase the IC, you will end up in saturation region. So you cannot increase that IC. So it is very important to tune those V ins. Rather, the easiest way is to neglect, so make such an arrangement so that this becomes almost zero. Either tune, for tuning purpose you need an external circuit which will tune these higher order terms, or you make V in very less than Vt, which will automatically make them suppressed. So you will be end up with this fundamental term. So your V in will be essentially be sine omega t, so it will be sine square omega t, sine cube omega t, so a lot of harmonics will come in, so that will create further problems. So this is the reason why we need the small signal analysis, we need the voltage signal that you are using should be less than Vt. Otherwise you may end up with, this is the value, you may end up with a zero gain situation, which is not desirable. Okay, so that thing one has to keep in his mind. So now let us see, if IC is the first term, fundamental term, capital IC by Vt, if this is the case, IC is equal to the first term, IC by Vt into V in, these terms has been neglected, then your GM is IC by V in, right? This is the GM value, this is the formula of GM, IC by V in. If you don't remember, go back to the previous, this is IC by VB, this is your V in. So you have IC by V in. What is del IC by del V? This is AC component. So this AC IC by AC V in. That is what you have written here. Now replace this IC. You will get, if you take the V in this side, you will get this IC by V in is actually IC by Vt. Now replace the value of Vt, which is Kt by Q. You get again Gm equal to Qic by Kt. That is what you got in here also. Gm equal to Qic by Kt. So using this also you get Gm equal to Qic by Kt, and also here you got Gm equal to Qic by Kt. But remember, for small signal operation you should satisfy this relation, and that is why it is called small signal, because you can't go beyond Vt. If you go beyond Vt, you'll end up in trouble.